Welcome to Staffworks Explained. If it's your first time here, please subscribe to this channel. Also watch other videos that you have done on various topics. In today's video, we'll be talking about privatization of Daresalam Port in Tanzania. There are reports that the government of Tanzania is planning to start a process of acquiring a competent global investor to run the operations of the country's major port of Daresalam. The Minister of Works and Transport, Makame Mbarawa, recently told the parliament that the preferred investor should meet international standards for the port to become more competitive. The process of acquiring the investor was announced after the members of parliament had earlier in the day urged the government to privatize operations of the Daresalam port to enhance its efficiency. We want the investors to meet international standards for the port to be more competitive, come up with a permanent solution on cargo shipping from the point of origin to the client, as well as be able to address the cargo clearance challenges, said the minister. According to the minister, the investor must be an international company with proper network and vast experience in shipping industries, as well as capable of securing new markets. He said that the hiring of the private investor in the operations of the port is a phenomenon that is unavoidable in the current world, where many countries have invested in private companies to run port operations. The port is currently operated by Tanzania Harbour Authority, THA, which is a state-owned enterprise. This agency has been criticized for its inefficiency and lack of investment. There are reports that DP World, the firm that is owned by, that firm which is known as Dubai Ports World, is the preferred for this privatization. The firm might be awarded the contract to run the ports in Tanzania. DP World is preferred bidder for the 25-year session to operate and manage the Daresalam port. DP World is a global port operator with operations in more than 50 countries. The company has a strong track record of operating and managing ports efficiently and effectively. The award of contract to the DP World is seen by many as a major step forward for the Daresalam port. The port is a vital gateway for trade in Tanzania and wider region. The privatization of the port is expected to help in improving efficiency and also attracting more investment. This will boost trade and investment in Tanzania and also help in creation of jobs. This has not been without criticism. Privatization of the Daresalam port has been met with some opposition. Some people have argued that the port should remain in the state ownership. However, the government has said that the privatization of the port is in the best interest of the country. The government has also said that it will put in place safeguards to ensure that the port is operated in the best interest of Tanzania. What are the possible benefits that may be accrued out of this privatization process? Privatization of the Daresalam port can bring several benefits. Some of the advantages include improved efficiency, where the private sector involvement brings in competition and is mainly market driven. This leads to improved efficiency in the port's operation. Private companies are motivated to optimize operations, reduce costs, and enhance productivity to remain competitive. This can result in streamlined process, reduce turnaround times, and also increase capacity utilization of the port. There is also the benefit of infrastructure development, where privatization will attract private investment and also expertise, and this will enable the development and the modernization of the port infrastructure. Private company may bring in advanced technology, equipment, and management practices that can enhance port operations capability. This, in effect, will lead to improved port facilities, expanded handling capacity, and also introduction of the state-of-the-art logistics systems. There is possibility of increased revenue and economic growth, and the privatization will generate additional revenue for the government through the sale of or lease of the port assets. Private companies can also bring in new business opportunities can attract foreign direct investment and create employment opportunities, thereby contributing to economic growth. A more efficient and productive port can facilitate trade, attract more shipping lines, stimulate increased import and export activities, benefiting both local business and national. There is also specialized expertise which will be brought by private port operators, which normally possess specialized knowledge and expertise in port management operations. They bring in industry-specific skills, technological advancement, and best practices that can enhance the overall performance of the port. This expertise can lead to better cargo handling, improved logistics coordination, and enhanced customer service. There is also the element of risk sharing, where the privatization process will shift some financial and operational risks from the government to the private sector. Private sector bear the responsibility for investment, maintenance, and operations cost, reducing the burden on the government budget. This risk sharing can provide the government with more flexibility in allocating resources to other sectors and focus on policy and regulatory oversight. There is also the element of transparency and accountability. Privatization also comes with contractual agreements and performance targets that promote transparency and accountability. Clear contractual terms can help establish standards, regulate services level, and ensure compliance with agreed upon performance indicators. This can lead to better governance, monitoring, and evaluation of the port's operation. Despite these benefits, it's important to note that privatization can bring benefit, and it can also, and this requires careful planning, strong regulatory frameworks, and effective oversight mechanism to safeguard the public interest, prevent monopolistic practices, and also ensure that there is fair competition. Additionally, the specific context of the local circumstances should be considered when assessing the potential benefits and challenges that will be brought about by privatization of the Daresalam Port, or any other port for that matter. Privatization of Daresalam Port in Tanzania, like many other infrastructure privatization, carries certain risks and challenges. Some of the potential risks and which are associated to these port privatization include: 1. Loss of control. When the government cedes control of the port to private operators, there is a risk of diminished government influence over strategic decision making and policy direction. This loss of control may raise concerns about the alignment of private interests with broader national goals, potentially impacting long-term development plans and priority. There is also the question of profit maximization versus public interest. Private investors or operators are primarily driven by profit motives, which may sometimes conflict with broader public interest. The pursuit of financial gains could lead to increased tariffs, reduced service levels, or prioritization of certain types of cargo or customers over others. Ensuring a balance between private sector profitability and meeting the public needs can be a challenge in this kind of an arrangement. Then there is potential monopolistic practices, where privatization may result in the concentration of power in the hands of a single or limited number of private operators. This concentration can be potentially lead to monopolistic practices such as price manipulation or limited choice for users. Effective regulatory frameworks and competition policies must be in place to prevent anti-competitive behavior and ensure a level playing ground for all the stakeholders. Then there are social impacts which may be expected, where privatization can have social implications such as changes in employment conditions and workforce restructuring. Workforce reductions or change in labor practice may create concerns about job security, working conditions, and potential social unrest. Adequate measures should be taken to protect the interests of the workers and to ensure fair transition for those affected by the privatization process. Then there is neglected infrastructure development, where private investors or operators may attract investment and expertise, and there is there's a risk that the private operators may prioritize those that are profit generating over long-term infrastructure development. If investment in infrastructure upgrades or maintenance is insufficient, this can lead to substantial to substandard facilities, inadequate capacity, and reduced competitiveness in the long run. Effective regulatory mechanisms are the only things that can probably help in balancing this. Then there is regulatory and governance challenges. We are establishing effective regulatory frameworks and oversight mechanisms will be needed in such an environment. Ensuring compliance with performance standards, quality of service, and adherence to environmental safety regulations need robust or strong government structure. Weak or ineffective regulations may undermine the benefits of privatization and lead to potential abuses. Overall, it's essential for the government to conduct a thorough due diligence and engage in transparent bidding process and establish a clear contractual arrangements that safeguard the public interest and promote fair competition and also address potential risk. Additionally, ongoing monitoring and evaluation mechanisms should be implemented to assess the performance of the private operators and address any issues that may emerge. Kenya had similar plans, and recently President William Ruto announced plans to lease the operation and management of the 5 critical ports in the country through a 1.4 trillion public-private partnership. This is a change in approach from the previous administration, where it had proposed to place the operations of the ports in the hands of private investors, like Tanzania is doing. The Kenya Development Corporation, KDC, is now seeking private players to run the sections of Kilindini Harbour, Dongokundu Port, Lamu Port, Kisumu Port, and Shimoni Fisheries Port, with the goal of enhancing the competitiveness of the northern corridor. The ports face challenges such as congestions and long dwell times for cargo, which the KDC intends to address by leasing or concessioning them to private operators with landlord-type port management system. The move is aimed at attracting private investment and expertise to improve efficiency and productivity of the ports. There has been competition between Kenya and Uganda for the trade routes, and this has intensified. Landlocked countries in East African region, including Uganda, Burundi, and Rwanda, have been showing preference of using Tanzania route. Both countries, Kenya and Uganda, have been investing in port development to attract these countries by promising faster cargo evacuation. The northern corridor, which connects the Great Lakes region to the port of Mombasa, competes with Tanzania's central corridor, serving Burundi, Uganda, Rwanda, and DRC. Mombasa port has faced increased port competition from Daresalam Port, and this has led to a decrease in cargo volume passing through the port. This has emphasized the need to revitalize the ports and enhance their capacity. The government aims to raise 1.4 trillion shillings, which is equivalent to $10 billion, through the PPP exercise, with the Kenya Ports Authority and LAPSSET Corridor Development Authority taking the role of implementing agencies. The government of Kenya highlights the potential for job creation, economic growth, and meeting the increasing demands of these commodities. The decision to lease the port is part of the government broader strategy to attract private investment, enhance infrastructure, and improve the competitiveness of the ports. However, careful consideration must be given to protect public interest, foster competition, and also establish robust regulatory mechanism to prevent monopolistic practices and address the potential social and environmental impact. As Tanzania plans to privatize the operations of the Daresalam Port, it should consider several factors to ensure a successful transition and maximize the benefits of this process. Some of the key considerations should be transparent and competitive bidding process, where Tanzania should ensure that there's a transparent and competitive bidding process which attracts reputable and capable private operators. This can help to select the most qualified companies with necessary expertise, financial resources, and also a track record in operations of the port. The government should also safeguard the national interest, should carefully evaluate the terms of the privatization agreement to protect the national interest. This includes setting clear performance targets, standards, ensuring fair pricing and tariffs, and also safeguarding job security and labor rights for the port employees. On regulatory framework, it should establish a strong regulatory framework to oversee and monitor the activities of the private operators. The regulatory body should have authority to enforce compliance with performance standards, safety regulation, and also environmental protection and fair competition practices. There should also be long-term planning and investment, where the privatization process should be solely focusing on long-term gains. Tanzania should encourage private operators to invest in infrastructure development, including upgrading and expanding the port facility to accommodate future growth and in trades and volumes. This will enhance the competitiveness and efficiency of the port in the long run. There should be also an element of public-private cooperation, where the government and the private investors work together on the issue or have regular communication, coordination, and share information to ensure alignment with the national development goals and effective utilization of the port facility. On skills development, the Tanzanian government should prioritize on this, building capacity programs to ensure that there is a smooth transition, and also to empower local talent to take a managerial and technical roles with the privatized port. These can involve training initiatives, knowledge transfer, partnerships with education institutions to develop a skilled workforce. Then there should be a stakeholder engagement, where relevant stakeholders, including port workers, trade unions, local communities, and business, are constantly engaged in the decision-making process. This can help build trust, minimize resistance, and also ensure that there is this process is beneficial to all the stakeholders. Finally, there should be a proper monitoring and evaluation, where a robust system is put in place to ensure that the port is run smoothly. Regular assessment will help to ensure that the private operator meets the contractual obligation, maintains service quality, and also delivers the agreed upon investment commitments. Through considering these factors, Tanzania government can navigate through the privatization process effectively. It can attract capable operators and also ensure that there is long-term success and sustainability of the privatized operations at the port of Daresalam. So thank you for watching this video. Let's know your thoughts about this privatization process. Also, watch other videos that you have done on similar topics and other topics. And if it's your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. For the repeat viewers, we thank you for the support that you have accorded this channel. Thank you and welcome for more videos in future.